Well, doing. If you like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. All board games this time. So we have Sorry, we have Monopoly Here and Now, and then we have a vintage 70s board game I've never seen or heard of called Copter Strike. So we will start with Sorry. So I've been doing really well with Saris after not realizing I had accidentally sold all of my Saris and had stopped picking them up. It comes and goes, right? And I got this one for $1. So this is probably 2013, which the cards sell very well, and for a decent amount of money out of this. The cards actually pay for it by itself. Then we have the pawns, and then they have these discs that get sold out of this. So this is the 12 pawn version. There's 12 and 16 pawn versions. What do we got? Everything neatly sandwich bagged. I appreciate that. Always need sandwich bag. We got our cards. These look like they're in good shape. And we have the hollow bottom Sorry tokens. A few different iterations. We got a tackle box of spares in case something comes up, but this looks good. We have our Fire and Ice token. Sort these real quick. The condition's good. As long as we're complete, we are good to go. And I may be out of this card again. It's, for whatever reason, the cards sell well. I don't know if they get trashed, but they sell oddly well, I would say. At good money. Might be that this game's picked up some steam because it is really easy. You talk about games that are playable, and Monopoly really isn't playable for kids. You can't read, it involves math. It's really not that exciting. Sorry just involves you picking a piece and moving. So you can, if you can count, or at least do a decent enough job, you can play it. I think it may have become like the de facto kid grandparent game. You know, based on my eBay comments anyways. Sometimes you get oddly personal reviews of people telling you why they bought something. And I have gotten the, you know, we play this with the grandkids every other Friday as a review. All right, we got everything. So we got 45 cards, and then that. So that puts us there. Like I said, we actually do pretty good profit-wise on the Sorry. So let's look at the Monopoly. All right, now we got Monopoly Here and Now. It's a series. They put it out every once in a while. You vote for, I think, town names. You vote for different things. So, Texas Stadium, JFK Airport. I don't know. It changes frequently. So they're nice enough to band up the money. I don't know if that actually sells, so we're gonna find out. Not even gonna look at the board. Hotels and houses are weird, so we don't mess with them. But we have Starbucks cup. We have a Nike. We have a dog. We have a McDonald's. We have an airplane. And we have a car. This is a 6-count game. I know I've sold this recently. I'm hoping my listing is still active. And I check that out with orders, and then we'll figure out what we're doing here. So, I have just sold this recently, except it was a 7-count. Then I looked in the box and I found 2 more. So this year was actually an 8-count on the tokens. So listed that for what I sold the 7 at. which was $9. And then I looked at this, and I have one stack of this for sale at $8. Oops. That no one has looked at in 8 months. So we're changing that to $7 volume pricing, and we'll see if we can get it to move. And it probably will, but not going to get a lot out of it. All right, let's look at this vintage strategy game, Copter Strike. All right, so Copter Strike. Probably not going to sell this in the box. Thinking parts. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's valuable. Every once in a while, I just like to spin the wheel. So historically, we talk about games that are collectible, games that are playable, parts for both. So collectible, any Milton Bradley game or Parker Brothers game from the 70s is going to have a collector aspect to it. So it's collectible. Is it playable? Strategy games tend to sell well because they're not replicatable outside of that game. It's something you have to own. You have to take it with you if you're going to play. They tend to do really well. So, and parts. So the box is pretty beat up. It is masking taped together. And you can see spotting. I don't know if it's going to come across. You can see pressure damage where something was on top of it. And it's spotting like it was stored somewhere moist. So, but we're just going to treat it as something we're going to try to preserve just in case it's worth a lot. Which it's a mass-produced game. I'm kind of thinking it's not, but we'll just treat it that way. I'll deal with the tape later if I have to. Historically, this style of box, though, is the worst to remove tape from. This white blank cover. It just tears right off. So. But parts-wise, what I thought was, you have a bunch of helicopters with propellers. You have a bunch of tanks or artillery pieces, whatever those are. You have these stands. I'm guessing like these stands are pain points and getting the complete set. Plus there's a unique die. So let's see what we got. So you can see this was in a basement. It's got like mold growing on the board. Alright, so right here we got a Jeep. See if I can move my camera here. There we go. Got one of our plastic stands. So you got corners, apparently. So you got 4 corners. We have instructions. All right, so we got helicopters here with propellers, an artillery piece. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I'm not super well versed in artillery, but I feel like there's like mold coming out of this box. This is not good. This must be anti-aircraft guns. Maybe those could be mounted to a Jeep. It's just like a 20 millimeter. Just a 20 millimeter, of course. We have the dice. So we'll see how many pieces we have. And if everything's complete. So yeah, the propellers and the guns come off. So you have to assume there's going to be a resell market on just cannons, on people having blank Jeeps, people missing helicopter blades. Let me get this sorted here. All right, so that's the game board before I move that out of the way. you would secure this bit over it. It's a numbered grid where these pieces slot in to hold it together. Corners, and then it looks like we just have 2 edges, which I got. So I have all the stands. I have this is in decent shape. Now, what we learned about the helicopters is they can break. So I have 2 helicopters where the part where the rotor attaches, there's a ball on top. The rotor snaps into place. That can come off. So I have 2 damaged helicopters, but I still have the blades. I'm guessing there's going to be a market for just the blades. We'll look up how many of everything we're supposed to have. I got 6 and 6 on the Jeep, and 6 and 6 on the helicopters, so I'm guessing that's what it is. But let's pull this up, see if we can get some idea on this game. Chopper Strike board game. All right. 108 chopper strikes. I'm not loving the price points. So when price points are all over the place, it generally indicates there's no buying history for the game. So we got a 40 bucker and we got a 14 bucker next to each other. Probably not great. 2-level loose for parts. Somebody's selling it for parts. We got choppers, 5 of them for $9. We got pieces. So we have parts. But this is saying it's supposed to have a red die, but the picture is very clearly not. So, but in the box, there's a red die. I don't know what to make of that, but you know, somebody's selling Jeeps without turrets. So, anyways, 108. And it's really just going to come down to if anybody buys this. 19. So we got Chopper Strike. Now, I did think maybe the manual would be something. So this guy sold parts for 22 bucks. Replacement pieces, doesn't say what it is. This is the whole board game for 25. Chopper Strike pieces for 15. 17 for all these. So there is a parts market for this. That is pretty cool. So rather than goof around with this, we're noticing nobody's buying these stands. They are for sale, nobody's buying them. The dice, nobody bought. I will include those, but I'm just going to sell all the choppers, all this. I have all the tanks, or Jeeps, or whatever they are. And I'll even throw in the 2 broken guys. But I think I could get probably 20 bucks. That seems to be roughly the going rate. Oh yeah, and the instructions, like I mentioned. Wherever I put those. So that'll complete somebody's game. And that seems to be a decent price point. Everybody else is selling less copters and stuff for 15, so 20 on all that with free shipping. That puts us around there. And it's not something to avoid. I would grab it again if I saw it, depending on how this goes, and I'm going to learn a bit about it, I suppose. But yeah, that kind of undercuts everybody, having a better deal on parts. 20% sell through is not awful, certainly. So yeah, that wasn't a bad pickup. So if you like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.